What if I told you that the most powerful thing you can do to lower your risk of cancer after the age of 50 doesn't come from a prescription bottle, doesn't require an expensive supplement, and doesn't even involve spending hours in the gym? In fact, you can begin doing it today, before this video even ends. As an oncologist, I've spent more than 2 decades sitting across from people whose lives changed in a single moment. One phone call, one biopsy result, one sentence no one ever wants to hear. You have cancer. Some of those patients had smoked for years. Some had a strong family history, but many looked just like everyone else. They ate reasonably well. They exercised occasionally. They felt perfectly healthy. And yet, somehow, cancer still found its way into their lives. That experience forced me to ask a question that completely changed the way I practice medicine. Why do some people develop cancer after 50 while others reach their 80s and 90s without ever hearing that diagnosis? For years, researchers believed the answer was mostly genetics. But today, we know something much more hopeful. Genes may load the gun, but your daily habits often determine whether the trigger is ever pulled. That is why today's video may be one of the most important conversations we've ever had on this channel. Because I'm not going to talk about miracle cures. I'm not going to promise that one food can eliminate cancer forever. No honest doctor can make that promise. Instead, I'm going to show you the daily habits that modern research has consistently linked with a significantly lower cancer risk. Habits that work with your body's own defense systems, helping it detect abnormal cells earlier, repair damaged DNA more efficiently, reduce chronic inflammation, and create an internal environment where cancer has a much harder time taking hold. Here's something that surprises almost everyone. Your body creates abnormal cells every single day. Every single day. That sounds frightening until you understand what happens next. Imagine your body as a city with nearly 40 trillion citizens. Every second, millions of tiny jobs are taking place. Old cells are dying. New cells are being created. DNA is copied. Proteins are built. Waste is removed. It's one of the most extraordinary systems ever designed. Now imagine that somewhere inside this enormous city, one worker suddenly makes a mistake. A tiny error occurs while copying DNA. That mistake creates an abnormal cell. If nothing stopped it, that single abnormal cell could eventually multiply into millions. But fortunately, your body has an incredible security team. Special repair enzymes constantly inspect newly copied DNA. Your immune system patrols your tissues day and night looking for suspicious cells. Damaged cells can even receive instructions to destroy themselves before they become dangerous. Scientists call this process apoptosis. Think of it as your body's self-destruct button for unhealthy cells. Most of the time, you never notice any of this happening because your body quietly protects you every day. The problem is, after the age of 50, those protective systems slowly become less efficient. DNA repair slows down. The immune system becomes less aggressive. Inflammation quietly increases. Years of exposure to pollution, ultraviolet sunlight, processed foods, stress, poor sleep, and normal aging begin placing more pressure on cells than ever before. It's a little like owning a house. When it's brand new, small problems are easy to fix. A tiny crack in the wall, a loose roof tile, a dripping faucet. But after 50 years, repairs become more frequent. Maintenance becomes more important. Ignore enough small problems, and eventually they become major ones. Your body works much the same way. Cancer rarely appears overnight. In many cases, it develops silently over years, sometimes decades, as damaged cells slowly escape the body's natural quality control system. That's exactly why prevention matters so much, because by the time symptoms appear, those cells may have been growing unnoticed for a very long time. Now here's the encouraging part. Scientists have discovered that your daily choices influence many of these protective systems far more than most people realize. What you eat, how you sleep, whether you move your body, how you manage stress, even when you choose to eat during the day, all of these habits communicate directly with your cells, almost like sending them instruction. Repair, protect, clean up, or unfortunately, ignore the damage. Today we're going to focus on 5 habits that consistently appear in some of the world's largest studies on healthy aging and cancer prevention. But I want you to stay with me until the very end, because the habit I'll reveal last is the one that surprises nearly everyone. It's completely free. It doesn't require buying special foods. It doesn't involve counting calories. and emerging research suggests it may activate one of the body's most remarkable natural defense mechanisms against damaged cells. Before we begin, I'd love to know who's watching today. Tell me your age in the comments below. And if you're comfortable sharing, what's the one health concern you think about most often after turning 50? I read as many comments as I possibly can, and they help shape future videos for this community. Now, let's begin with habit number 5. At first glance, it seems almost too simple to matter, but once you understand what's happening inside your cells, every time you open a package of ultra-processed food, you'll never look at convenience meals the same way again. Now, before we move to the third habit, I want you to pause for just a moment. Everything we've discussed so far has focused on protecting your cells from damage. But what if I told you there is another system inside your body that works around the clock, hunting down abnormal cells before they ever become dangerous? Most people think cancer begins the moment a tumor appears on a scan. That isn't true. Every single day, your body creates cells with tiny genetic mistakes. In fact, researchers estimate that potentially abnormal cells form far more often than most people realize. The remarkable news is that in a healthy person, the immune system usually finds and destroys them long before they can grow into anything harmful. The question isn't whether abnormal cells appear. The real question is whether your immune system is still strong enough to eliminate them. And that brings us to habit number 3, daily movement. Notice I didn't say intense exercise. I didn't say join a gym. I didn't say run 5 miles every morning. Because after age 50, cancer prevention has surprisingly little to do with athletic performance. It has everything to do with consistent movement. One of the biggest discoveries in cancer research over the past 2 decades is how physical inactivity changes your body at the cellular level. When you spend hours sitting without moving, your blood circulation slows. Your muscles become less active. Inflammatory chemicals begin to rise. Insulin levels remain elevated longer after meals, and your immune cells become less efficient at reaching tissues throughout your body. Imagine your immune system as a neighborhood security patrol. If the roads are clear, officers can reach every house quickly. But if every road is blocked with traffic, response time slows dramatically. Your bloodstream works much the same way. Healthy circulation allows immune cells to travel efficiently, identify damaged cells, and remove them before they become a problem. Movement keeps those highways open. Scientists have also discovered something fascinating about exercise and a protein called p53, often referred to as the guardian of the genome. This remarkable protein constantly scans your DNA looking for damaged cells. If it finds one beyond repair, it instructs that cell to self-destruct before it has the chance to multiply. Regular physical activity appears to support this protective system while reducing another important hormone called iron. Consistently elevated levels later in life may encourage unhealthy cells to multiply faster than they should. That's one reason researchers continue to find lower cancer rates among adults who stay physically active throughout their lives. One large study following thousands of adults found that people who consistently achieved around 150 minutes of moderate activity each week had significantly lower risks of several common cancers compared with inactive individuals. What's important isn't perfection, it's consistency. Let me tell you about someone I'll call James. James was 68 years old. He had retired 5 years earlier. His days became surprisingly sedentary. Breakfast, television, reading, afternoon naps, dinner, more television. He wasn't overweight, he didn't smoke, his annual checkups looked fairly normal. Yet he constantly complained of low energy, poor sleep, and stiffness throughout his body. Instead of recommending an intense fitness program, we made one simple change. Every day after lunch, James walked for 25 minutes around his neighborhood. Nothing fast, nothing exhausting, just enough to slightly increase his breathing while still being able to hold a conversation. After several months, something remarkable happened. His energy improved. His blood sugar became more stable. His inflammatory markers declined. His sleep became deeper. He even told me something I'll never forget. "Doctor, I don't feel younger. I just finally feel alive again." That is the power of daily movement. You don't have to become an athlete. You simply need to remind your body that it was designed to move. And here's another benefit many people never hear about. Walking after meals is particularly powerful. After eating, your blood sugar naturally rises. A short walk helps your muscles absorb that glucose before it remains circulating in your bloodstream for hours. Lower blood sugar means lower insulin. Lower insulin means less stimulation of abnormal cell growth. It really is that simple. If walking isn't possible because of arthritis or joint pain, don't lose hope. Chair exercises, swimming, gentle cycling, water aerobics, tai chi. Even standing up and moving around your home every hour is dramatically better than sitting continuously. Your body doesn't demand perfection. It rewards consistency. Now here's something incredibly important. Nutrition lowers inflammation. Sleep strengthens immune surveillance. Movement improves circulation and activates protective proteins. Together, they create an environment where your body becomes much better at defending itself. But there is still one invisible factor that quietly sabotages all three. It weakens immunity, disrupts sleep, raises inflammation, accelerates aging. And according to growing research, it may even influence how cancer cells behave inside the body. I'm talking about chronic stress. And what I'm about to explain next completely changed the way I look at emotional health after 50. Now let's talk about habit number 2. This is the habit that many people dismiss because they can't see it. You can't measure it with a bathroom scale. You can't photograph it. You can't buy it in a bottle. But after nearly 3 decades of studying cancer prevention, I can tell you this with complete confidence. Chronic stress changes your body in ways that are far more dangerous than most people realize. When people hear the word stress, they usually think about feeling overwhelmed, financial worries, family responsibilities, health concerns, loneliness after retirement, losing a spouse, caring for aging parents, simply feeling anxious about the future. Those emotions are completely normal. The problem begins when your body never gets a chance to switch stress off. Every time you experience stress, your adrenal glands release a hormone called cortisol. In small amounts, cortisol is actually helpful. It raises your blood sugar when you need energy. It increases alertness during emergencies. It helps you survive dangerous situations. But cortisol was never designed to stay elevated all day, every day. Unfortunately, that's exactly what happens to millions of adults after 50, and this is where things become concerning. Persistently high cortisol weakens several of your body's natural defense systems. It increases chronic inflammation. It interferes with normal immune cell function. It disrupts healthy sleep. It raises blood sugar. It encourages abdominal fat accumulation. And over time, it creates an internal environment where unhealthy cells have a much better chance of surviving. Think of your immune system like a professional cleaning crew. Every day, they're removing damaged cells, repairing tissues, and keeping everything functioning properly. Now imagine someone suddenly cuts their workforce in half. The trash begins to accumulate. Small problems remain unfinished. Repairs get delayed. Eventually, the entire system becomes less efficient. That's essentially what chronic stress does to your immune defenses. Researchers have repeatedly observed that people living under prolonged psychological stress often show reduced activity of natural killer cells, the very immune cells responsible for identifying abnormal cells before they become dangerous. One major review involving hundreds of thousands of participants found that chronic stress was consistently associated with higher levels of inflammatory markers throughout the body. While stress alone does not directly cause cancer, persistent inflammation and weakened immune function create conditions that are far less favorable for long-term health. That's an important distinction. Stress isn't simply in your head. It creates measurable biological changes. I remember one patient I'll call Linda. She was 64 years old. 2 years after losing her husband, she came into my office convinced something serious was wrong. She wasn't experiencing severe pain. Her scans were reassuring, but she constantly felt exhausted. She wasn't sleeping. Her appetite had changed. She had stopped seeing friends. She spent most evenings alone watching television until midnight. When we talked, it became clear that her body had been living in survival mode for nearly 24 months. Instead of immediately focusing on medication, we worked on restoring her daily routine. Every morning she began taking a slow 15-minute walk outdoors. She practiced simple breathing exercises before breakfast. She joined a weekly community group at her local library. Every evening she turned off the television an hour before bed and spent that time reading instead. 3 months later, she looked like a different person. Not because life had become easier, but because her body was finally leaving survival mode. Her sleep improved. Her blood pressure declined, her inflammatory markers improved. Most importantly, she smiled again. Never underestimate what emotional healing can do for physical health. One of the most effective stress management tools costs absolutely nothing: deep breathing. It sounds almost too simple, but the science behind it is remarkable. Slow breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system. This is often called your rest and repair system. It lowers heart rate. It reduces cortisol production. It calms inflammation. And it prepares your body for healing instead of constant defense. Here's an easy technique you can begin today. Breathe in slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 4 seconds. Then slowly breathe out through your mouth for 6 seconds. Repeat this for 5 to 10 minutes. Many people notice they feel calmer almost immediately, but the real benefit comes from doing it consistently every day. Another powerful stress reducer is something many people unintentionally stop doing as they age: meaningful social connection. Study after study has shown that loneliness isn't simply an emotional issue, it's a biological one. People with strong friendships, supportive families, volunteer activities, or regular community involvement consistently show lower levels of inflammatory markers than those living in prolonged isolation. Your body responds to connection, conversation, laughter, purpose. These aren't luxuries, they're medicine. Now think about what we've built so far. Whole foods reduce inflammation. Quality sleep strengthens immune surveillance. Daily movement improves circulation and activates protective proteins. Stress management helps your immune system function at its highest level. Each habit supports the next. Each one strengthens the foundation beneath the others. But there is still one habit left. And if I could ask every adult over 50 to begin only one new daily routine after watching this video, this would be the one, because it activates one of the most extraordinary repair systems ever discovered inside the human body. A system that remains completely silent in many people for decades, simply because they never give it the opportunity to turn on. And once you understand how it works, you'll never look at your daily eating schedule the same way again. Now, we've reached the habit I believe every adult over 50 should understand. If someone walked into my office today and asked, "Doctor, if I only change one thing this year, what would you recommend?" This is the answer I would give. Not because it's trendy, not because it's popular, but because the science supporting it continues to grow every single year. The habit is simple. Give your body enough time between meals to repair itself. Most people wake up and immediately eat breakfast. They snack throughout the morning. Lunch, afternoon snacks, dinner, dessert, another snack before bed. Their digestive system works almost nonstop for 16 or 17 hours every day. What many people don't realize is that while your body is busy digesting food, it cannot fully focus on many of its most important repair processes. It's like trying to renovate your house while a large party is still taking place inside. Repairs become slower, maintenance gets delayed, cleanup never truly happens. But when you consistently allow your body several hours without food, something extraordinary begins to occur. Researchers call this process autophagy. Autophagy literally means self-cleaning. Think of it as your body's housekeeping team. Every day, damaged proteins, worn-out cell parts, and unhealthy cellular debris begin to accumulate inside your tissues. Normally, autophagy identifies this damaged material, breaks it down, and recycles the healthy components to build stronger new cells. It's one of the most remarkable repair systems ever discovered. In fact, scientists were so fascinated by this process that research on autophagy earned the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine. Now let's be clear, autophagy is not magic. It does not guarantee cancer prevention. But laboratory research suggests it plays an important role in maintaining healthier cells by removing damaged cellular components before they accumulate. The challenge is that many people rarely give this process enough time to become active. Late-night eating, constant snacking, sugary drinks throughout the day. These habits may keep your digestive system permanently busy. One patient I'll call Michael completely changed my perspective on how powerful this simple habit could be. Michael was 62. He wasn't obese. He exercised several days each week. His annual blood test looked fairly normal, yet his fasting blood sugar kept creeping higher every year. His waistline slowly expanded despite no major dietary changes. When we reviewed his routine, one detail immediately stood out. He started eating at 6:30 every morning. His final snack was usually around 10 at night, His body never experienced a meaningful fasting period. Instead of asking him to dramatically change what he ate, we first changed when he ate. His breakfast moved to 8 o'clock. Dinner finished before 6:30. No evening snacks. Only water, plain tea, or black coffee after dinner. Within a few months, several things happened. His fasting glucose improved. His energy became more stable throughout the day. He slept better. He lost abdominal fat without counting calories. And perhaps most surprisingly, he told me he no longer woke up feeling exhausted every morning. Nothing extreme, just giving his body enough time to repair itself. Now, I want to emphasize something important. Time-restricted eating isn't appropriate for everyone. If you have diabetes, take medications that lower blood sugar, are underweight, pregnant, or have certain medical conditions, you should always speak with your healthcare provider before making significant changes to your eating schedule. Health advice should always be personalized. But for many healthy adults over 50, simply avoiding late-night eating and maintaining a consistent overnight fasting window may support healthier metabolism, better blood sugar control, and improved overall health. Now let's put everything together. Habit number 5. Reduce ultra-processed foods. You lower inflammation and give your cells better nutrition. Habit number 4. Protect your sleep. Your immune system becomes stronger and more efficient while you rest. Habit number 3. Move every day. Your circulation improves. Your muscles stay active. Protective cellular pathways become more efficient. Habit number 2. Reduce chronic stress. Your immune system works better. Inflammation falls. Your body shifts from survival mode back into repair mode. And finally, habit number 1. Allow your body enough time between meals to activate its natural maintenance and repair processes. None of these habits require expensive supplements. None require complicated equipment. None require perfect genetics. Individually, each one helps. Together, they create an internal environment where your body is better equipped to protect itself every single day. And perhaps that's the most encouraging message I can leave you with. Growing older does not automatically mean becoming unhealthy. Your age may increase certain risks, but your daily choices still influence how your body responds to those risks. Every healthy meal, every evening walk, every full night's sleep, every moment spent lowering stress, every decision to stop eating late at night. These small choices don't seem dramatic in a single day, but over months and years they quietly shape your future health. If you're over 50, today is an excellent day to begin. Not next Monday, not next month, today. Choose just one habit from this video and commit to it for the next 7 days. Master it. Then add the next one. Small, consistent improvements almost always outperform dramatic changes that last only a week. If you found this video valuable, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me your age and which of these 5 habits you're going to start first. I read as many comments as I possibly can, and your experiences often inspire future videos that help thousands of other people. If this information helped you understand cancer prevention in a new way, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone you love who is over 50. One conversation, one shared video, one healthy habit, it could truly make a lifelong difference. Thank you for watching.